We are live. Lighting is not great. There we go. See when Zealous comes in the picture. Lighting. Hello. Oh, Manish.
Oh, hey!
How did he find out?
Oh, I put it in the thing.
All right. All right. Well, we are live. So hi everyone,
Hey, everyone.
and welcome to our last live before CanJam. Next week, we are very excited and looking forward to the event. It is going to be one of the best London CanJams to date, I believe, with lots of reveals and product launches, some exceptional partners joining us, we've mentioned before. So yeah, you will find us in row D at the show. We will be all over the place. So just look for us. We will be running a few booths for some of our partners, and yeah, we obviously had the pleasure. Sennheiser was kind enough to bring the HE1 um, so they offered this excellent listening experience to CanJam.
Yeah.
So thank you for arranging that.
No, no.
This is Mr. Zealous is doing. Yeah, and so, but we thought there's a few things that came up recently, exciting things, and few IEMs in particular. Today is going to be quite IEM centric, where we feel, IEMs that are of interest to many of you for various reasons. Um, and so, do you have any opening words?
Yeah, I mean, really looking forward to CanJam and, meeting so many of you guys there. And yes, it's going to be hectic. Yes, it's going to be busy, but, it's also going to be fun, interacting with so many people, letting, so many people try these amazing products. And yes, sometimes, especially with open back headphones, are not the best. It can be a bit noisy, but with IEMs, that's pretty much a lot of those issues are gone. You can try IEMs. It's better for auditioning IEMs.
Yeah, there is CanJam is kind of a interesting one because here is a good action plan for CanJam. If you're going to the show, before going to the show, try to identify what are your targets. So like pick 2 to 3 things that you really want to try.
Yeah.
And then maybe focus on those the first day. Don't, if you try and hear 15 different things, the human hearing is an interesting thing. It's not just a machine. It's very psychological. The environment plays into it. What you hear will impact what you hear next. And so as a result, if you hear 10 things, the 10th thing you're going to hear might sound different the following day. So if you have specific targets, maybe start with those, spend good time with them, and then revisit them the next day. Most importantly, I would say caveat your CanJam impressions a little bit. If you are very experienced and you have been, listening to IEMs or headphones, and you know your preferences, you know the signatures. If you know, yourself very well in a way, then that's great. But if you're just exploring, then take CanJam as an opportunity to interact with people, explore, try some amazing gear. Maybe find the right IM headphone for you. But yeah, so just go and have fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a part of it is meeting the people behind the companies and brands. That's really cool. Understanding the story, seeing what motivated them, and even them telling you what goes into their products that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, again, this year is a little bit, there's more brands coming and there is more brand presence. So do take advantage, ask questions. We're generally approachable. People helping us are generally quite nice. So yeah, come and say hi. Moving on, the Monarch Mark III. Again, it's not going to show on camera at all. So the Monarch Mark III is obviously the new update to the Monarch lineup from Thieaudio. Um, the Monarch One was quite a milestone, I would say, for Thieaudio. It really shocked many people because the performance that it offered compared to the price point was quite exceptional at the time. I did own the Monarch Mark One and I did love it. The Monarch Mark I was a little bit of a sub-bass focused IM with, let's say, maybe a little bit of less body in the mids. So the lower mids on the Monarch I were not its strongest suit, or the mid bass, but it had, you know, lovely stage, lovely detail, really nice sub bass, and so a lot of people liked it. The Monarch II obviously was a major success and is, I have it here, and again was seen as an IM that kind of transformed the industry really, earning some very high ratings from various reviewers and being one of the most popular IMs last year. So Monarch 2 was more expensive obviously than the Monarch 1, but also it kind of brought some tonal improvements, namely the lower mids were improved. The mids on Monarch 2 became really, really good. I always tell people that the mids on Monarch 2 are some of it's to me is the strongest point of this IM. It's where it really shines. The bass was changed a little bit, and there was a little bit more mid bass, but for some people that mid bass was still hit and miss. And the other thing that people complained about, again, relatively with Monarch 2, was the fit. So the Monarch 2 shell isn't really that big in itself. It's just that it's not as three-dimensional, and it's kind of a bit flat and wide. And so with the ear anatomy, for some people, not for everyone obviously, but for some people, they struggled a little bit with the fit. Now comes the Monarch 3, and the good news is it's still the same price. The other good news is that the shell is a little bit more three-dimensional this time. So there is a bit of this kind of curved shape, kind of semi-custom shape to the shell. Again, very difficult to show with this lighting, but the shell to me is a clear improvement over Monarch 2. It's still not small, so some people might still want to try before buying. But the fit, for me personally, is lovely, and it really gives me an excellent seal. Um, in terms of sound, the Monarch 3, I'm going to summarize it in one sentence. It's an upgrade. Hello. The Monarch 3 is just an upgrade over Monarch 2 and is an improvement in pretty much all the areas. The bass is a little bit punchier, a little bit more controlled than Monarch 2. We will get back to that. There's a reason as well for it. The mid bass and the lower mids, especially the mid bass, is now much more consistent. So I don't have this, you know, listening to rock music or listening to some tracks where I feel, oh, I wish there was a little bit more mid bass. The mid bass is actually very present here. It's fleshed out. The mids are still Monarch mids, which is again great news because it means that this is to me still more or less a mid-centric IM, i.e. the mids are still the star of the show with this IM. Now, when it comes to treble, this is where things get really interesting with the Monarch 3 because the Monarch 3 has definitely more treble energy and extension than Monarch 2. People who have followed maybe my impressions of the Monarch 2 know that I found the treble on Monarch 2 to be maybe a little bit polite, which is good because Monarch 2 was a very, very smooth IM. You could never go wrong with it, i.e. you would play literally anything and you would get a smooth, pleasant sound with still enough resolution, with still enough details and warmth in the sound. Here, the how to say it? Let's say that Thieaudio have been experimenting this year, and I really like that. I know that not all of their experiments have been necessarily a popular hit or popular success, but I think that they were kind of preparing for this. To be honest, I think that they were kind of testing the waters with new tech, starting with the Oracle 2. We've talked about it. I found that the bass and treble on the Oracle 2 were definitely something new. Then the Prestige, which was again a step up technically. Tonally, we're going to talk a bit about the Limited, but the Prestige was technically a clear step up. And I feel that all of that was kind of, you know, trickled down to this one. So the treble on Monarch 3 has much more energy than the Monarch 2. And in fact, some areas of the treble have more energy than the Prestige Limited itself. What
Mm.
this does is that you are getting a little bit more 5K energy, which means that cymbals, some early treble is going to be a little bit more exciting, and what that does is that it's actually balancing that bass. So Monarch 2 is a quite bassy IM, but because that bass is balanced by the treble, you're actually getting a more energetic sound. So I do like the imaging on the Monarch 3. I do like the detail, the resolution for the price point. This is still going to be tough to beat for that price point.
Mm.
Um, I do like the mids a lot. Vocals, rock music sounds great on this. Um, the stage is still for me on the intimate side of things.
Yeah.
It is not the biggest stage, but again, for this kind of price point, hello Hugo. For this
Hey.
price, you cannot really, I know that we want it all and then some more and for less money, but that's not how it works. And I think that this is still an amazing value proposition. At $1,000, £900 in the UK, it is the one to beat still. It's really
Mm.
tough to offer more for the price, I would say. The treble extension is also improved. Um, so yeah, these would be my overall recommendations. I do like it, and I do like it a lot more than the Monarch 3. Sorry, I do like it more than the Monarch 2. The Monarch 2, I would say that I respected it and I, saw and appreciated why people enjoyed it a lot,
Mm.
but I didn't love it necessarily. I did love the V16. I didn't necessarily love the Monarch 2. This one, especially, so the tips, I use Sedna tips with it, which are wide bore tips. So what Sedna tips for my ears, what they tend to do is they open up sound a little bit. They emphasize sub bass a bit more, upper treble a bit more, and makes the sound a bit airy. I do like it, and the fact that the fit is good is probably not a small reason why. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I had a bit of listening time with the new Monarch Mark threes. I'm just going to sum it up as I think I posted it in the Discord. So a very, very solid IEM, especially in this price range. I think it's going to be, yeah, as obviously Sound Jedi mentioned, it's going to be a very, very tough one to beat. I'd say, yeah, quite pleasant tuning. The tonality, it is not offensive. I think it can, that actually makes it quite versatile with music genres. Quite a lot of, I'd say, pleasing sub bass quantity amount. I quite like it. Actually, it's
absolutely.
really nice. For me, fantastic fit, fantastic comfort, fantastic passive noise isolation. I quite like the shell. It's really nice, and obviously it is customizable.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a new feature.
it's a new feature,
Yeah.
and one we know that one of these faceplates in particular is going to be very popular. We haven't seen it in person yet, but it is looking great. The stock faceplate is also very nice. I like
Mm.
it. I mean, this is a pleasant, nice faceplate, really cute. Nothing stands out. Nothing is. It's not boring. It doesn't
Mm.
stand out too much. I like that. With faceplates, I'm more of a understated kind of guy, and yeah, there is a vent at the front, so I do not notice any pressure buildup. But then I don't really notice pressure buildup with most IMs.
I'll
But
try and show that.
yeah, but there is a vent at the front.
Can you see that? It's the white. Yeah,
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah.
so very positive.
Yeah.
Now, any more?
Yeah, I'd say I actually quite like the treble. I actually quite find it quite refined,
Yeah,
but the mids are excellent. It actually has, I think like the predecessor, it does have really good timbre. I'd say.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's quite natural sounding. Yeah.
I would still classify this as a warm IM, just to be clear,
Mm.
especially when we compare it to his big brother, if you want, in the Tribrid family, the Prestige Limited. So I know that we've shown this before, and it's probably useless to try and show this again on this camera, but the faceplate is lovely. The shell of the Prestige Limited actually probably will fit more people easier than the Monarch 3,
Let's see if we can.
probably.
If we can, it's slightly there. It is.
Yeah,
This is Prestige Limited. It's just it's slightly smaller.
slightly.
Slightly, yeah,
Yeah.
slightly.
So the Monarch 2 obviously has two more BAs. Prestige has two more ESTs. So that's a dual DD plus 6 BA plus 2 ESTs. That's a DD plus 4 BA plus 4 ESTs. Now this obviously the Prestige, I personally liked it. I thought that it was more of a V-shaped IEM. There was definitely a lot of treble detail and energy, and a lot of bass as well. So to me, it was more of a V-shaped, and that's what I call V-shaped. What I mean by that is that the mids are a bit recessed, and I was kind of, wishing for mids and vocals to be a little bit more forward. Um, I would say this is a more balanced tuning. It is definitely closer to the reference tuning that Thieaudio are aiming for.
Hmm.
The bass, the mid bass in particular, has been pulled back a little bit, and the treble, 5K, and then upper treble as well, has been reduced a little bit. So the end result is a extremely balanced signature. To me, the mids are still somewhat recessed, the upper mids. So when I'm listening to vocal centric music, the vocals are sitting a little bit further back. Now, this is not all negative, because what this means is that the Prestige, I really, really, really like the stage on Prestige. It is wide and it is very deep. It is not necessarily the highest stage. That could be helped, by the way, with a little bit more upper mids. But the stage is very wide and very deep. It is definitely, when you switch between Monarch 3 and Prestige, you do notice immediately that the stage just expands, basically,
Hmm.
right? So the treble on this is actually smoother, I would say now. Smoother might not be the right word, because Monarch 3 is still smooth, but
Would
there
you say
is
refined or?
it definitely has more detail and extension than the Monarch 3,
Hmm.
but at the same time it's also a little bit softer. So part of me is kind of saying, did they pull back the 5K a little bit too much? Could it use a little bit more? I don't know. I like it. I think it's very smooth. It's more of an all-rounder. It's a very solid IM. It has been popular in our auditions with community and our customers. I like it. I will be spending more time with it. One of the things about, again, the whole treble bass thing is that because the treble is the lower treble is a little bit more polite than Monarch 3, the bass also shines. And the bass on the Prestige Limited does have a little bit more definition and texture than the Monarch 3. Monarch 3 is bigger quantity, but the
Hmm.
Prestige has better texture, and detail in the bass, if you want. So again, another great effort. This is obviously a bit more expensive. It's competing with a different range of IEMs, but very, very solid IEM from Thieaudio.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much gonna echo what Sanjay I mentioned with the Prestige. I just want to try and show you the faceplate. It's this lovely sort of, I don't know, it's like sort of this. Is it like the singularity effect? In
Yeah,
astronomy, and
kind
it's
of.
it's pretty cool. I quite like it. But yeah, so with this, again, for me, again, for my ears and my anatomy, the fit, isolation, comfort is fantastic. It is, as we alluded to earlier, it is a little bit physically smaller shells than the Monarch Mark III. I'd say this is not as mid forward as the Monarch Mark III. Still has fantastic timbre, I'd say. But yeah, I think it's wide. It's more expansive. It's wider sounding. But what really stood out for me is, again, what you mentioned. It has very good depth and
Absolutely.
layering. Very good depth and layering. I was actually quite surprised by that. Good resolution, very good resolution in this price range.
Very good
But
resolution. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, this is quality I am.
It is a quality IM. Absolutely. And again, fully deserving of its price point, and great, great effort by Thieaudio. There's one more Thieaudio that I haven't spent much time with, but I think you, Zealous, has spent a bit more
Yes,
time.
a little bit.
It's the Hype 2, and we do
Uh,
not have it, but it is somewhere.
Yeah,
But we
so
can talk about it.
yeah. So the Hype 2 is sort of flew under the radar a little bit, but I think I think HBB has one, right? I think
I believe so.
yes, I think VSG also. Um, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the Hype 2. Again, pleasant, enjoyable tuning. Um, it measures quite. Ooh,
Oh, thank you, Nick. We made a spelling mistake.
no worries. So yeah, I say the Hype 2 pleasant, pleasing tonality. Measurably, it's quite interesting actually. It actually measures very similar to the Monarch Mark II, except it has a little bit more treble energy.
Mark 2 or 3?
Two.
Ah,
I
okay,
think it was two
interesting.
actually.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
just a little bit more treble energy. But yeah, I think watch this space. I think we'll, once we have a bit more time on it.
Yeah.
I like that it's quite an engaging sound. It has a bit of rhythm and groove and just this. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I believe that the Hype 2 is using the same dual DD that is in the that's been used in the Monarch 3. I do like the bass. Again, I did only listen to it for a limited period of time, but I did like what I heard for the price point. Again,
Hmm.
for $300, I did like it, and it will be again. I'll share more impressions when I have time to spend time with it and. Compared to other similar in that price, the $300 to $350 price range is uber competitive.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of good IMs in there, and we like that. We like that we have this choice at all price ranges with
Hmm.
IMs that we deem excellent. With I think it's good for everyone, and it's definitely been an improvement. So over the last 12 to 18 months, we have noticed that generally tuning has been getting better and better, and that's only good for the consumer and good for us audiophiles, because it means that it's there's more good choices out there, and choice is always a good thing. Talking of good tuning, there's one more IM that we've had now for a few days, as some of you know, and it is the new Empire Ears Raven. That's going to be even harder to show.
Yeah, because
There we go.
there we go.
So
There.
it's a lovely, again, as always, lovely build quality and lovely faceplate from Empire. This faceplate, I would say, looks, it's kind of harder to show it on camera or on pictures properly. It has this nice black reflections. So Raven has been officially announced today, and in Hong Kong, but we've had it for a few days. So thanks to Jack and Empire Ears for sending us this pre-release sample to try, and we've talked about it a little bit already, and so the launch edition, I believe, there's gonna be a special launch edition with a gold faceplate, but this one will be available as well. Obviously not everyone wants a gold faceplate necessarily, so you will be able to pick between the gold launch edition or the standard edition, I believe. The retail price is about $3,600. We will get back soon on the UK retail price. So what I would say about Raven in a nutshell, it is my favorite Empire Ears to date. My experience with Empire Ears, is I've tried the Odin, Evo, Legend X, Legend X SE. My favorite, I would say, was Legend X, actually. It's the IM that I connected with the most. I did like parts of the Odin signature, namely the bass in particular. I really liked it. And if we count Odyssey as an Empire IM, I also liked Odyssey. I found that Odyssey had been a significant step forward for Empire in terms of tuning and overall tonal balance. And I would say that Raven is an improvement over that for me. And Odyssey was a little bit on the warm side for my ears. The treble was maybe a touch too smooth in a way. It was good. I did like the pairing of Odyssey with a neutral source, such as the Earman Angel.
Yeah, very good pairing.
Yeah, it was a very, very good pairing. Raven is not like that. Raven is a bit more has more energy to start with. The bass on Raven is excellent. I do like the Raven bass a lot. It is probably my favorite again from Empire Ears. It goes very deep. It has excellent body. It's a big bass. I would say it could be borderline bass head. Definitely, if you're listening to bassy tracks, um, it's definitely there a lot, and you're gonna hear it. But it's very clean and very well controlled, and I absolutely love that. Now that's obviously the dynamic driver, probably the bone conduction driver doing something there, but it's excellent. The rest of the signature, Raven definitely has more treble energy, especially in the lower treble than Odyssey, again to my ears. We will see if the graphs confirm that or not. But it definitely has more lower treble energy, and it has really good treble extension. So the treble extension on Odyssey is actually excellent. In terms of staging, I find that the Raven has excellent height and good depth. The width is good. I wouldn't say it's class leading for this price range, but it's good. And it has a very unique presentation. I have to say that it has a very tall image that's really interesting. It's a very enjoyable IEM. I would say that I've had moments where I got lost in the music with Raven. Would I classify it as my personal all-rounder IEM? There is a couple of tonal, again, the lower treble energy is something that I tend to fall in and out of love with. But again, this is balanced by the big bass. But definitely for me, it's not something that I want all the time. It can get a little bit fatiguing to my ears. But it's not something that I consider to be a flaw necessarily. It's a tonal choice that some of the people, again, who are Empire Ears fans who came to see us and got the opportunity to try the Raven have enjoyed it a lot. So I think that Empire fans will be pleased. I think that this is, again, a great effort. Technicalities in terms of resolution, layering, etc., are definitely worthy of the flagship level, and so the Raven is competitive. One caveat: so the Raven shell is quite big, and the nozzle is on the thicker side of things, which means that you will need to tip roll. Now, I do not have any issues with the fit. I've managed to find at least 3 or 4 different tips that give me a decent seal and a good fit with Raven. But it is quite big, so something to keep in mind.
Cool. So again, it's quite lucky to try these eagerly anticipated IEMs. So I'm just gonna go off my notes here. So I was, I tried this mainly with actually your RS6 modded GT.
Very
so going from my notes, there is still some minor driver flex, so be wary of that. The shells are really big, guys. Yeah, these are not small IMs. So it's something that you should, please, I would strongly recommend avoid blind buying. Try if you can. They are big. So the nozzle is also quite large. Pretty good isolation, I'd say, for me. For me, they were comfortable. They are quite easy to power as well. So, yeah, it is a tall image for an IEM. That's what I would say. I'd say, tonally speaking, I would describe it as warmer than neutral. I wouldn't say V. I would say just a bit warmer than neutral, personally. Just incredible height, I'd say.
Yeah.
Really, really, excellent height. I found it a slight boost in the mid bass. Great treble. I found it quite refined, smooth, good timbre, great resolution within its price range. Vocals are not forward. I didn't find them forward sounding. Again, that makes it a bit versatile of genre type. Great separation, good decay. The sub bass is quite thick and meaty and has good texture in it. It is. Outstanding in the bass region. It's just excellent. Not the tightest, Not the fastest,
But it's fun.
but it's just so enjoyable. It's fun.
Fun.
You know, it's just, yeah, it's lovely, lovely
Yeah.
stuff. Good decay. Vocals have good body, but I think spatially its presentation, I find it quite unique. It's this, how I described it is not the widest sounding. I think the low-key trumps it in terms of lateral sort of emphasis or the way it presents it. But how I found it is this sort of dome arena like sort of presentation. It's quite interesting. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So just to clarify, I do not find Raven V-shaped. I do not find mids recessed on Raven at all,
Yeah.
or too forward. But I would call it more of a W kind of, where the bass is
Yeah.
emphasized and then mids are emphasized and then treble is emphasized. So, and it has a lot of energy. So yeah, definitely. Again, when you get an IM, people who know me know that when especially when we get a flagship like this. Um, I tend to take my time before sharing impressions. So please take these as early impressions.
Yeah.
But the feedback is overall very positive. Great effort again by Empire. They have been listening. They have been improving and working on the tuning, and on providing a quality sound. And again, I mean, Empire Ears, they make some of the best bass in the business, and they've always done that. This is obviously no different. This is one of my favorite um, dynamic driver based responses out there, but it's very easy to hear that straight away. So yeah, it's got energy. So excellent.
Yeah, one final thing with the Raven. So obviously the design, the faceplate is quite a big departure from Odyssey and Odin.
Yeah.
This is like the black variant would come across as a bit more plain compared to the previous IMs. It's a bit more understated.
I like it.
I like it. I
Yeah.
personally quite like it, but it is quite the departure.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. We haven't seen the gold one in person. It does have some bling, but
But I think it will look. I think it looks nice
Yeah.
actually. Obviously, after that, gold is you like gold, you don't like gold.
Yeah.
But the faceplate comes out as so much nicer than the gold one. Yeah, again, it's gold is some people say, oh my god, this is so cool, I love gold. And some people say I would never wear that because it's too much gold. So that's why it's being good thing that they are offering both versions at launch, and you can pick which one you want.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of black, but it has this little mirror finish to it. Again, I'm someone, yeah, it's hard to tell from pics, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm the understated kind of guy. This works for me. But again, people who know me know that like faceplates, IM faceplates for me are not the, and they're not gonna make me buy or not buy an IM. I'm focusing more on the fit, the sound, and the tonal balance, etc. So
Cool.
Early impressions, positive.
Yeah.
All right. One
Final thing.
final thing to cover. Should we take the camera there? Or should we bring it here?
I don't know.
I think we should say. So Andrew Sparks from Sparkos has been kind enough to send us the Aries. So
Oops.
there we go. So this is the Aries is the flagship amplifier from Sparkos, and it is this is the full version of the Aries. This will be present at CanJam next week. So look forward to hearing it. Yeah, I'm gonna let Zealous do this one because it's he will talk much better about it.
So yeah, the Aries. It is. I think the build quality is exceptional. Lovely touchscreen, very fast and responsive and intuitive. It's very easy to use. I love the fine adjustments with left and right balance. So if anyone has sort of hearing imbalance, is pretty. I'll actually show you.
Yeah,
it's just here, so you can adjust it quite easily, quite readily, and it does center itself, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful. I think it's 3.8 or 3.6 watts.
Right.
The peak current and voltage out is quite high. Obviously, there's the full version, the full variant, which differs from the base one because the full one has XLR inputs as well as preamp functionalities, whereas the base one only has RCA inputs.
Yeah.
So there's something to bear in mind. The volume adjustment is outstanding, guys. It is outstanding.
This is
So, you know,
a nice volume wheel.
can you hear
Very.
that, guys? So it uses relay-based attenuator, but it is not loud. It is super. It's so satisfying to change.
Yeah.
You know, it's really pretty awesome, pretty amazing. So the output is single-ended 6.3. The output impedance is extremely low. It's like 0.5 ohms. So
Right.
it's actually very good with IEMs. Obviously, you probably may need to use an adapter as well. The gain options is again quite unusual, quite rare. You have 10 dB, you have 20, you even have 30 dB gain. There's an option or functionality where there's a safety feature where it can detect clipping and it can reduce the gain down by 10 dB, which is again a very smart and useful functionality, especially when pairing with DACs that may have a hot signal, as they put it. And sonically, it basically sounds like a giant flagship Sparkos op amp. So
Exactly.
neutral, very neutral, but musical and engaging, transparent, spacious, punchy. Something to note, it is like, be careful with very demanding, playing our headphones like the Sesvara. Depends how loud you listen and so on. But it is a quality headphone and preamp.
Absolutely. Again, what you said about, so I've been using Sparkos op amps for years now. Been a fan of their sound. The sound it's a neutral sound. It's very open and very spacious, and you have a lot of detail. All the detail you want in the treble, but at the same time, it is not a sterile analytical sound.
No.
The lower end has meat and on the bone, if you want, and it's punchy and you can feel it and it gives you that emotion. Some neutral amps do not give you that emotion. This one does, right? So yes, it doesn't. It's not gonna work well. It's pairing dependent, so it's not gonna work well with very demanding planars. But it's a great amp, and just that volume wheel. The screen is so intuitive. I mean, I've heard, when we received it, I didn't really know what to expect because some people were like, yeah, the touch screen and actually when you start using it, is so easy. You have the power button is clear. You press the buttons and literally a 5-year-old could use this menu. Maybe not 5, but 7-year-old, right? Could use the menu and understand more or less what it does. So it is super intuitive, super responsive. And you guys will hear it next week and you'll tell us what you think.
Yeah, that's really exciting, for you guys to get your ears on the Aries and maybe some other stuff.
And maybe some other stuff. There's no shortage of stuff. So yeah, once again, so next week, to conclude, I guess, looking forward to seeing you all there. Some of you will be there with us. Thank you for your support. As always, we keep saying we have the best community. Yeah, that's you. We have the best community.
Bass Master.
And we love the energy that this is a hobby and this is a passion. It's a business, but it's also a passion project. And when we feel your energy and your passion, and that's why we want people to be vocal and and to express themselves on the Discord and to participate, and because energy is contagious. And so when you guys have good energy, we have good energy, and hopefully the brands and manufacturers also see that, and it just creates a positive, hopefully positive dynamic for everyone involved.
Yeah, really looking forward to it, meeting you guys in person, letting you guys try some amazing cool stuff, and maybe there'll be 1 or 2 surprises there.
And giveaways.
Oh man, yeah. There's at least a couple of excellent ones, but maybe more. I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. We've got a lot of work to do. We're very blessed that we have people who are helping us as well. But looking forward to it. It's
Yeah,
going to
that's you
be
too,
hectic. It's going to be
JP.
busy. Hey.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching and for being with us. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week in London.
Take care, everyone. All the
Bye.
best. That's a good